Okay. Hello again. I'm going to be doing a little bit of tech testing for the moment. Don't know how long this is actually going to go, but I do want a recording of this. And, you know, figured might as well do some shiny hunting. I am messing around. I did not actually know that OBS has VST plugin support. So I'm gonna be monitor and output. Okay. And specifically, what I'm interested in doing right now, close some windows, is working on this de-esser plugin. Let's see. How does that sound? Dot 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 dot. Because I don't want it to actually cut out my speech too much. Just cut out a little bit of the... Because that seems to be what is kind of crackling in the VODs. And that's probably just like something with how I speak. It's not a huge deal. I just need to find a good balance point. Oh, that's a little too high. Where it's gonna cut out a lot of the sibilance, but still make it audible, not cut out what my actual speech is. Because this is me talking with it off. And if I say like de-esser, 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 yeah, okay. That sounds a little better. Does the processing order on these matter? Let's try that. Actually, no. I want the gate at the top, and then the de-esser, and then the noise suppression. I think. Let's see how that sounds. I'm just gonna talk for a little bit. But yeah, we beat Chance of Senar earlier. That was fun. Enjoyed that a lot. It did, on reflection, kind of think they like changed the puzzle logic in the middle of that third area. Certain kinds of hints that I expected to have were just not there. Then it turned into kind of a mist, just click around for a while. Let's turn that a little bit higher. What happens if I just do that? Pop, 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 pop. Test, test. Test. see. That should, like, way overdo it. But yeah, Chance of Senar was good. Enjoyed it a lot. I did want to play a little bit more Leaf Green, but my work schedule this week is not going to be very accommodating for that. Tomorrow's pretty late. Day after that's pretty late. And then I think on my longer days, I do want to play more active games. Okay, I need to turn off this monitoring. There we go. Okay. It's really bizarre hearing yourself talk like a quarter second after you talk. But yeah, I don't know. It was fun. Hey, look, Skarmory. I did decide that's what the real target on this route is. It is only 5%, so even though I would be pretty happy with any Pokemon on this route, that is the one that I want. So that gets to go in the thumbnail. And I need to figure out something to do with the phase display in the sidebar. But every time I look at, like, trying to pick a font out, I just, like, I open Canva and then I want to die. I hate Canva so much. And, like, it doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be, like, a presentable font that's not, like, Arial. But even that is too much. I just want to open GIMP, throw things together with transparency. Because apparently that's too much for Canva. You have to pay to import images that already have transparency on them. It just, like, does not recognize. Crashing out at 4 AM while playing Pokemon about making things in Canva. I am not paying them money. Like, flat out. That's just not happening. I'm not paying Canva for a bad product, for a bad service. I will use GIMP. I will find a way. But Spinda would be cool on this route too. Like, I do like all of the Pokemon Spinda because, you know, totally unique shiny. Probably, likely no one has ever seen whatever shiny Spinda pattern you get. And then Sandshrews good, Sandslash is good. But Skarmory is the real good one. So yeah, Roselia just gets to live there on the side for a little bit. Until I make a phase counter and a recent shiny and a target shiny display thing. We'll see. I don't know. I also did find something cool today. I went thrifting, as I often do. And I found a new DVD player, which is what I was looking for. My old DVD player is dying. It really struggles reading discs, and so I've been using my Xbox to do my English DVDs and my PS2 to do my Japanese DVDs. Which is serviceable. PS2 menu sucks for DVD navigation. Xbox is okay, but is also having some issues playing DVDs sometimes because that is It's an old console. It's had a long life. It's played a lot of games. But I managed to find a Sony DVD player that has S-Video out and component out and a digital out. I'm most interested in the S-Video because my little 13-inch CRT does have an S-Video in. And one of the big reasons that I guess not reasons, one of the big projects that I had last year was taking as many of my consoles that could output S-Video natively as possible and hooking those up into an S-Video switch and amplifier so that I could go through and play, you know, SNES, GameCube, N64. I don't think the PS2... No, the PS2 did. The PS2 has S-Video. I also found an S-Video switch. It's only a 4-input switcher, so it's not actually enough. GameCube ended up not making the cut because I mostly use the GameCube for Game Boy games. I use the Wii for GameCube games usually. But I did. I got that, and then I also found a clone of the webcam that I'm actually using right now. For like $4. And I don't need the tracking, like the tracking needs to be okay for stuff where I'm doing mouth movement. And needs to be high enough frame rate for when I'm using hand cam footage. But it doesn't actually need to be great quality if I wanted to do a piano stream. If I wanted to just have something to do model tracking for that. Not looking at like top of the line camera type stuff there. So $4 and a USB extension cable, and bam! I have a way to do piano streams with model tracking. I currently don't have a way to look at chat while that's happening, but, you know, I can pull the old laptop out from its sad grave. Because all that thing was a YouTube machine by the end of its life anyway. I just kept it on a little table next to my bed so I could watch YouTube. And then it died. Well, the battery's always been dead. I've replaced it twice. And then it dies, and then the processor and stuff has been outclassed, and also it's had thousands and thousands of hours of use over the past decade, so I had to swap it to Linux to keep it running. Tried it on some newer distro for a while that was supposed to be really lightweight, and it worked great for a while, and then I decided to just swap it to Mint. And then it lived as a YouTube machine for another couple years. But my current setup doesn't really have a spot to keep a laptop for watching things, so I've been using my phone for my pre-bed YouTube. That's a cute one. Got a little eye patch. I'm actually not sure how I'm gonna do rhythm game hand cam streams, if I want to do those. Because I don't actually know if I can stream some of the rhythm games that I would be doing hand cam for. I may have some issues with that. but we'll see. I mean, I could do it. So there are actually 2 things happening next month that I want to do as rhythm game streams. One is the Musync's The Return, which is a Chinese 4/6 key vertical scrolling rhythm game. The sequel, The Return, is coming out next month, and I want to play that when it comes out. That should be this week, actually. It was supposed to be earlier this month, and then it got pushed back. But it says currently release date is April 3rd. And then also there is a new Donkagu expansion coming out next month. And whenever those come out, I go play through all the hards, and then I play through as many of the extremes as I can. Or sorry, lunatics. Play through as many of the lunatics as I can. But both of those are games that I have currently 100%ed. The original Musync's I 100%ed, Donkagu 100%ed, and like a billion more. Like I 100%ed Donkagu in like 2 days by playing 20 hours in 2 days, beating the whole story and getting every card and doing that even before I was like good at 6 key, and now I'm okay at 6 key. But whenever expansion comes out, I do like to play through at least all of the hards and lunatics. But I really liked Musync's, so I'm really excited for this sequel game. I hope it keeps some of its little quirks and charm. But I'll be playing that on stream, probably. Trying to 100% that. I just really like 6 key, dude. No one seems to like 6 key. Everyone who plays vertical scrolling games plays Mania, where they play like Eterna, and they play 4 key, and 4 key sucks. I'm gonna be honest. 4 key like physically hurts my hands. There's not enough notes to actually like chart things musically, so everything just turns into note dump. My hot take is that 4 key is the worst vertical scrolling rhythm game. 6 key's great. I would like 7 key better if I had like a split spacebar, maybe. Or a stabilizer or something. And then 8 key... I want to learn 8 key, and I feel like I would like 8 key if I learned to play it. But it would take me like another 100 hours, and then also pinky is kind of a weird key, or weird finger, compared to your ring index middle. In terms of like strength. And so it would depend on how people chart. Because if you chart for full finger independence on 8 key, I think you're probably going to run into some problems. Like, you can basically do that. You can basically consider ring middle pinky as equivalent fingers for charting purposes. Like, there's a touch difference between them if you're playing piano. That's one of Chopin's big things, is that all of the fingers have a unique voice for how they hit a key. But keyboard keys don't really have that problem for the most part, so it's more about the physical mechanics of hitting a key with your fingers. But your pinky, hitting a key with your pinky is very different, like biomechanically, than hitting a key with your middle finger. And same with thumb. Thumb is a very different beast. But for touch purposes, at least. Those 3 middle fingers, and so 6 key just kind of works in a way that 8 key and 7 key don't for me. So I like 6 key. And then I tried to play some Oceania, but I also really hate note release timings. I've gone on extensive rants about this. But I think note release timings are generally a bad mechanic. They're unmusical. And if we're playing a rhythm game, ideally, you want there to be some correlation to music. Putting the same kind of note judgment that you do for a note attack, which is a very, like, obvious, loud thing, especially on, like, a stringed instrument. Or, like, a piece of percussion, like a drum hit. If you look at a waveform of that, it's very clear where the attack is exactly, because the volume goes from, like, 0 to 100 in, you know, instantly. So it's really easy to do a very precise judgment window on that, because it's really easy to time that. It's there. It's obvious. But note decay is often very slow, especially if it's low in a mix, or if you have something really quiet. It slowly fades out over time. It's not as obvious where the note actually stops, and so putting the same kind of judgment window on that is ridiculous. You can't hear when a drum stops reverberating. Like, you can't. You can hear when a drum hits, when someone hits a drum. You can't hear when a drum fades out, especially not in a mix. So putting the same, like, plus or minus 20 second, or 20 minus plus or minus 20 millisecond timing window on both of those things is stupid. Like, frankly, note release judgments are bad for the most part. Some games do it in an interesting way, where a note release judgment is actually you release a note on another, on the attack of another note, and I think that's maybe interesting. But most games don't do that. Most games, you know, you hit a note when it starts, and you release a note when the note quote-unquote ends. And that just doesn't work. It's bad. Then you get into being a reading game. Except most of these games aren't reading games. They're supposed to be music games. You're playing to the music. Anyway, neither Donkagu nor Musyncs have note release timing. And they're both 6-key, which is also rare. 6-key games already pretty rare in the vertical scrolling rhythm game scene. And things with note release timing, also very rare. Like, it's basically just those two that I've found. Because you can play 6-key in DJ Max, but DJ Max has like a gimmick to it. Because you have the sound voltex type effects buttons, except they also block out half of the screen when you play them, so not great. And then you have to play those with your pinky. So it's actually like sort of 8-key. It is fun to log into DJ Max and just obliterate people on ranked every once in a while, though. That's basically the only thing I do on DJ Max. The song selection also isn't quite as good. And then it has the billion DLCs that all cost money. I don't mind paying for DLCs in some games. Like in Donkagu? Yeah, I'm gonna buy every DLC. I want to buy Zune a beer. I will buy Zune a beer every 2 months. That is a thing that I'm fine doing. But DJ Max, I don't know if that's a thing that I want to do. Or PC Groove Coaster, a game that hasn't been actually updated in like 3 years. Actually, I refunded PC Groove Coaster because it just didn't work. And then hasn't been updated in forever, and then there's like a million DLCs that all cost like $20 or something. It's bad. PC Groove Coaster is really bad. You gotta play YY Party. That's the only real one. But then you have to play on the Switch. And the Switch is bad. I'm just a hater, I guess. Don't like DJ Max, don't like note release timings, don't like the Switch. I don't like 4-key. Hater. That's fine. I've played enough of these games to have opinions. I've played on enough consoles to have opinions. I'm an old and bitter man. And I play what I like. Which is Gen 3 Pokemon games on the GameCube. Surprised it actually managed to keep that smile for that long. Oh my god. I did make some tater tots though. Tater tots with some... I've actually been... Recently, I have a bunch of this popcorn seasoning that I got on sale. And there's this ranch popcorn seasoning that I got that is... It's basically just like a ranch salt. And I was like, you know, I bet this would be pretty okay on potato products instead of putting actual ranch on it. And it is. It's pretty good. Shake on some popcorn ranch seasoning, toss some hot sauce in there, nibble on those. It's pretty good. I also really like doing that with adobo seasoning. I put adobo seasoning on everything. One of my struggle meals is I take a can of chickpeas, or garbanzo beans, however you prefer to call them, and I'll toss them in some olive oil, and then I will fry them or bake them. You should like air fry or bake. And then just like mix those with adobo and chomp on those for a while. It's really good. It's really good. They get a little crispy on the outside. It's good. That's my late night cooking tip. And it is so easy. Because it's just, you take a can of chickpeas and you drain it. And then you toss them in oil. And then they go in the air fryer. And then like 15 minutes later, with like maybe one shake in there, they're done. Very minimal effort. And then chickpeas are like super good for you. They're like high protein, high fiber, low fat, technically low calorie overall. And then you just like, you're dousing them in salt, which isn't great, but you know, just drink more water, dude. should start doing that again more. I haven't made them in a while. I can't use my air fryer at night, and that's usually when I'm in the mood for that kind of snack food. During the day I can cook, but air fryer is pretty loud, so I don't like doing that at night. I am pretty tired, so I don't know how long I'm actually going to keep this going. Maybe I'll try to go to 4:30. So I still haven't done reading yet either. I've been playing this puzzle game. Like literal jigsaw puzzle. I got it for free and I wanted to use it as a its Steam backgrounds, and I was like, I might as well just beat this game. So after I finished Senar, and while I was eating, I was chipping away at a couple of those puzzles. I only have a couple left. I don't know if I have to do the bonus ones. The bonus ones are like 250 or 300 pieces. Which with this control scheme, I will say is actually kind of awful. All of the pieces are in a little pond floating around, which wouldn't be that bad if you could actually pick up the piece that you were clicking on. You click on a piece and it just like picks up a random piece in the vicinity, and I cannot figure out any rhyme or reason as to what piece it picks up. It's pretty bad. The puzzles are nice, though. It kind of seems like they're puzzles that the guy who made the game actually like went out and took on a vacation at some pretty like unknown places. Just like he's just like went on a trip and was like, yeah, I saw this cool bridge in like the middle of nowhere and I took a picture of it. They've mostly been pretty easy. There was one that's it's like a Sakura branch over a lake, and the whole puzzle is just these cherry blossoms over water. It's like... That one took me, I think, like an hour and a half to do on its own, and a lot of these puzzles I'm done within a half hour or less. That one was hard, just because of how many things there were. And how little logic there was to it. Like, you could kind of follow some of the branches, and could kind of guess based on the color of the water in the background in some of them, but a lot of it was just like, alright, here's a piece, we're gonna take it all the way around the perimeter and see if it fits in any of these spots. And just keep doing that. And then eventually it was done. But I am glad we finished Chains of Senar. I was a little worried about picking something too ambitious as my first, like, playthrough game for stream. But it took about 10 hours in total to play that. So, not bad. That's a reasonable amount of time to stream a game. And I do still have other projects that I want to work on and try out, but I hope there will be more full games played through like that. I mean, there will be. It's gonna happen, but I just need to figure out how much to bite off. Because when I'm playing games myself, I will drop a lot of games. I'll play like a couple hours of a game to test it out, see if I vibe with it, and I'll put it in a folder to be like, okay, I'm not ready for this game now, but I will come back to it. And then I never come back to it. Or I just like open up RuneScape or Pokemon and play those instead. But one of the things that I want to do with this channel is play through more full games from start to finish. Because I have a lot of games that I've been waiting to play for years that I want to play. Like, I really do want to actually play through and finish. But I just have a hard time focusing on one active thing for that long. Especially as I've been studying Japanese over the past few years. It's been like, okay, this is a game that I want to play in Japanese. I don't feel ready to play this in Japanese yet, so it goes in the pile. And the pile has gotten very big of games that I want to play in Japanese. It's not gonna get smaller until I actually start playing some of those games. So I did a test read for another game last night. Visual novel called Karakara. 2, actually. I've already beaten the first one. Post-apocalyptic science fiction, but also just like cute girls doing cute things, sort of. It's kind of like if Nekopara had like a little bit more plot to it. Similar kind of Animal Girl Cafe type thing. But like way more explicitly post-apocalyptic. Because like Nekopara, it's like slightly implied that these are the results of some like crazy-ass genetic engineering that they're doing. But then they just like totally drop that. It comes up like once as part of it. Like you go to the bookstore or something and you start reading about the history of it, and then you decide, I don't actually care. I want to do things to these cats. I'm not monetized, but you know what happens in Nekopara. You don't need me to tell you what happens in Nekopara. But this is a lot more... What's the word? It's kind of more somber. Like, everything that happens is with this overtone of, like, oh, you are, like, one of the last actual humans who's alive. And there's, like... serious problems with this world that are... It's kind of more like Yokohama Kairashi Kiko, Girls, or not Girls Last Tour, Yokohama Shopping Log. Where it's like, it's explicit that you're watching as like the last remnants of humanity fade out from some apocalyptic war or climate catastrophe or event. And you're living in not San Francisco, but someplace in the United States that's fake San Francisco, and it's like become a desert all around you. I'm not saying it's great writing, because it is still fundamentally Animal Girl Cafe, but it's better than Nekopara, I think. I think it's more interesting than Nekopara, and I got it for like $2. And my standards of reading for something being easy and like under 10 hours and $2, I'll read a lot of things for that price. But I still want to get back to, what was his name? There's a guy who basically makes these visual novels entirely himself. It has like 4 or 5 of his VNs on Steam sale, basically every Steam sale. One of them's like Kosaka-san, One-Armed Crayfish, Sun in the Shade. It's like Saloon something. But I played through Kosaka-san, and I thought the writing was really interesting. That game's kind of a trip. I liked it enough, and they're all pretty short, like under 100,000 characters. So I figured I would go back and play the rest of his games and kind of see what his writing style's about. And they're like short games. Like, I extracted the scripts from them, and I think Kosaka-san was like 60k, Sun in the Shade is like 80 or 90k, if I remember right. But I want to return and finish the rest of Flowers. I have Summer on my taskbar right now, because I finished Spring at the end of the year. I wanted to finish it before the end of last year, and I did. That game's hard and long, and it takes so much effort to read Flowers compared to Funny Animal Girls. So, we'll see. And I still have not actually gone through and played like a proper big visual novel with lots of branching routes and endings in Japanese yet. But I did a test read of Air. I talked about that a couple weeks ago. Or a couple streams ago. I don't remember how long that was. But I liked the writing. It's pretty easy to follow. I don't remember if it text hooked or not. Text hooking is primarily a speed thing for me. It just makes doing lookups fast. And then mining, like making flashcards of words in that, it makes that fast as well. So it just kind of increases my overall reading speed because I have to spend less time looking things up, but then, you know, if you spend less time looking things up, you remember those things less, but then the flashcards make you remember it better. It's like, So if games text hook easily, then I usually text hook them just because, why not? But if it's going to be a battle to do it, then I just either do it without, or wait. Put them in the folder to be like, wait until I'm a stronger reader and then do these without a text hooker. Like, that's what I'm doing with Loopers right now. Which I don't think is actually like a very hard game. I know the book club read it and they text hooked, but they were using the non-Steam version. And unfortunately, I like Steam achievements. So if I can play a game on Steam, I'm probably going to play it on Steam. Like, that's the main reason that I haven't been reading Umineko. Because I can't text hook the Steam version, because Steam is evil when it comes to visual novels. And also that Umineko's like 2 million characters long, and also very hard on top of that. I do really, 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 really want to read that. But I think ballpark for something at that difficulty, I could do about 10,000 characters per hour right now, which means Umineko is a 200-hour game. Like, minimum. That's a lot of hours. That's a lot of reading. That's like a multi-year type project. I don't think there's a single thing in Japanese that I've spent 200 hours working on. I mean, I guess like watching VTubers, like I probably watched 200 hours of Mio, but that doesn't count. For like single reading project. Like I think the longest series I've read is probably still Horimiya, which is 17 volumes plus a bonus thing. Actually, is Yotsuba 17 now? Can't remember. I can't see on my shelf if it's 16 or 17. But Yotsuba's pretty good. I like Yotsuba a lot. I'm being pinged. Oh, I way overshot 4:30. I just started yapping about visual novels and then I couldn't stop. I guess let's count it down. That can be 5. Four. 3. I don't know what I'm gonna read tonight though. I may grab another volume of Squidward. Shinryaku Ikomusume 2. I'm on volume 9 now. Yeah, I'm tired. And 2 more. One more. This can be last. One shiny spindle. Almost a 210. Might hit that tonight if I do anything. Alright. I'm gonna call it there for tonight. If I'd stream tomorrow and the day after, it's probably gonna be more of this low-key shiny hunting or RuneScape. But then Wednesday and Thursday, I may start a new real game. Thanks for hanging out. For this very short shiny hunt, yap, and audio testing stream. We'll see how these settings work, and if they work to DS my S's. Alright, have a good night everyone.